Good afternoon, Neapolitans. Neapolitan gal here. Well, I got my Florida shirt on. I'm watching Dorian on the TV, and I've got a tornado warning just east of here, so this ought to be interesting. Today, I was going to make banana bread for you guys, banana nut bread, and my bananas aren't ripe enough, so I'm not going to bother with them today. I might make them for you tomorrow or Tuesday. But today we're making funnel cakes. I'll hold that right there so you can get the recipe. These are awesome funnel cakes. Real quick, the recipe is 1 egg. Size really doesn't matter on the eggs. A 2/3 cup of milk. We use 2%. You can use whole. Skim probably won't do it because you're looking for the milk fats. 2 tablespoons full of granular sugar. 1 1/4 cup of flour. A big old bag of flour here. 1/4 teaspoonful of salt. You can ballpark it. 3/4 teaspoonsful of baking powder. That's what's going to make it rise. Even if you have all-purpose self-rising flour, you still want that baking powder so it can rise and get a little thicker. This is really easy. I usually use a bigger pot, but I wanted you guys to be able to see the funnel cakes as they're proofing or coming up in the oil. So I do have more of a frying type pan that I'm using. Mix all the dry ingredients together, mix all the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. You should have a nice consistency like a pancake batter, really. When it looks like it's pretty good and poofy, you can flip it and get it fried on both sides. It is a great and versatile, it's a very versatile recipe where once you cook the funnel cake, now I actually do add a few other ingredients, but they're not on my list. I use a little bit of cinnamon, I use a little bit of vanilla, and basically just a quick splash of vanilla and maybe a couple, of the cinnamon. Just for a little bit of flavor. I don't actually have it on my recipe card, but I think on the back I actually say, you could add it in. Now, I use a Ziploc bag. I don't use Ziploc bags today, but about 2-3 weeks ago, CVS had these really great sale on a bunch of snacks and things, and I bought this. This actually came with a funnel cake mix. I'm actually going to mix the funnel cake into my bowl. I'm going to sift the sugar right into there just to make sure all the lumps are out, though it says it's pre-sifted. I still want to make sure the lumps are out. And then I'm going to pour that into here. And this is supposed to, make your funnel cakes nice. We'll see. I'll set that over there for now. Okay, so let's start. So we need 1 1/4 cups of flour. Now, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. I'm going to go ahead and just get out the size cups that I need. Let's go with a little first. This is a huge bag of flour. I actually poured the flour into my normal flour container, but there was way more flour because I plan on doing some baking this week for you guys. And so there was way more flour in this bag than in my containers. My containers not usually got that much flour in it, so I'm going to set these aside for now. I'm going to dust my hands off. Let's tilt this down so you can see what I'm doing. You don't get to see me. Alright, so now basically what you want to do with your dry ingredients is go ahead and put everything in with your flour. So we're looking at 3/4 teaspoons full of baking powder. Is a 1/2 of a teaspoon here. And then gonna kind of eyeball the rest. That's about half, I think. All right. So now what do we have? Salt, I believe. 1/4 teaspoonful of salt. So 1/2 of a 1/2. And you should be able to. Oh, this is an old box of salt. There we go. This has been in my cabinet forever. Luckily, salt really doesn't go out of date, so 1/4 teaspoonful of salt. Let's close that up. Now we need 2 tablespoons full of sugar. I have my sugar container right here. So let's go into this with my tablespoon. I got this recipe years ago off the internet. I forget exactly where I got it from. But it's really an awesome recipe. I've been using it forever, and everybody really loves the funnel cakes. I've done them for parties. Usually I just do them for parties. Sometimes we have sleepovers with my son and his friends. I've done them in the past for that. So, all right, so now if you've never sifted ingredients, I've got a sifter here, and basically you just either want to pound it on the side like this. You can do that, but I think, usually the pounding works well. And basically what it's doing is just getting all the granular stuff out, and then you can move it with, you can move the remaining, see what it does here, see all the lumps? You can just press them out with your fingers. There's nothing wrong with the lumps, it just, probably not really where moisture is, but it's just happens. Stuff, especially in Florida, stuff clumps after a while. Now you can see the flour is much softer looking. I mean, it's completely sifted, and it's ready for our wet ingredients. So, what do we need? We need 2/3 cup of milk, 1 egg. That's all of our wet ingredients. So I forgot to grab my measuring cup. Pardon me. Hi. I knew I was forgetting something. So, all right. So here we go. So we're going for 2/3 cup of milk. If you're not good at ballparking, you can always put this on the counter and just kind of give it a quick glance. I'm okay with ballparking. Now, here's where you can do one of two things. Since it's only 2/3 cup, I would go ahead and crack my egg into that milk and beat it. Alternatively, you can just pour it in, put it all into your flour mixture. Oh, I did forget the cinnamon. So, top. I usually just put enough in there to coat the top of the flour, make it kind of brown. And then I know I was forgetting to sip something in, so we'll just give it a quick stir. You don't want an overpowering taste of cinnamon, but you do want a little bit of a cinnamon flavor. And then into that, into the milk mixture, the milk and egg mixture, I'm just going to do a quick. There we go. Again, just enough to taste. Set those two guys aside. Finish beating this up. Our oil is ready. I'm just going to dump this right into here. Alright. And then just fold it all in. Once it's folded in, then you can beat it. This is, like I said, this is going to be fairly thick. It's going to be a little bit thicker than a pancake batter. As with any other recipe like this, if it seems like it's too thick for you, you can always go with another little splash of milk. I'm talking little splashes, so if it seems like it's too thick, which just seems like it's a little on the thick side today, it could be a different type of flour that I'm used to using. Just a couple tablespoons full at a splash. So you don't want it to be too thin, you also don't want it to be overly thick. I think I'm just going to do one more splash, and then we're going to put this into my dispenser and make some funnel cakes. And don't worry, I'm going to move you guys closer to where my pan is, so you can see everything that's going on. Now, if you're wondering, no, I have never done this at a fair. That's actually one of the things I really would like to try. I've been wanting to do that for the last many years, but our local fair is horribly, horribly expensive for vendors. So unless you're completely confident that you're going to make all of your money back and then some profit. The cost of opening up a booth for food in our county is astronomical. Now, I've never used this contraption before, so we're going to learn together. Now, it's still sticking to the sides a little bit, so I'm going to come in with a, actually that flip will probably work just fine. So, just going to loosen this stuff up in my bowl here. Make a mess. That's okay, right? Finish scraping this off. I probably wonder what I'm going to do with the extras. Oh, so obviously probably I'm going to be able to eat them all. That's okay. I've never tried to freeze them, but I'm sure you could probably freeze what you don't eat, most like probably like a waffle. So this is still really thick, so let's find out what these guys are going to look like. So, alright, so get you guys in kind of close. I don't want to get you too close just in case this pops. The grease is nice and hot. I'm going to flip with this, and now you know I won't just use my tongs. So it's nice and hot, and here we go. So let's see how this thing works. And how you do funnel cakes, if you've never seen them made before, is more or less just a crisscross. Now typically, depending on the milk you use and the eggs that you use price-wise, you can probably make a funnel cake for 50 cents. The reason I say that is, and bring that to your attention, is if you do like funnel cakes, what you're paying for them at the fairs, obviously what you're paying for them at the fairs, helping them pay for their booth and everything. Looks like I made enough here because this is going to be really thick to make two with. So basically what you're going to want to do is just wait till it's good and firm on the bottom. You'll start seeing it, firm up some, and then you'll be able to flip it. And then when it's golden brown on both sides, it's golden to be taken off the heat. So we're going to flip this. I've never used this thing before. I just took the mix out of it that it actually came with before I started my video. I think it would be okay for something more thin, like a pancake or a waffle batter, but I don't know that I like it for this. So while that is finishing up, I'm gonna go here, got a plate down. Now, for funnel cakes, you can dress them with all kinds of stuff. You can put any type of pie fillings on them. Most of us just do powdered sugar. I have seen, like our local fair also set chocolate syrup out for them. So, and don't worry, I'm going to taste this when it's all said and done. I just want to make sure it's good and done. There we go. So, there is one. Now to put this in perspective, the size of my plate, it's half the size of my plate. So, alright, let's see if we can make a better one this go around. And again, it's really not, I think the batter this time around, I think the flour I bought last night just must be a little on the weird side. I think I'm just going to go ahead and make a big one. Get her over and done with, right? And if you happen to get little floataways like I've got going here, you can just bring them right back in. So, That's big enough. It's gonna be hard to flip, I think, actually. So. Alright. So, oh, made a mess. That's okay. Can always be cleaned. Now here's some powdered sugar. Now powdered sugar you can sift on if you have a second sifter when you've already used your sifter for making this stuff, then just tap it on with a fork, with a spoon. I think this one's going to require a little extra help. So I think we're going to go in with this guy instead. She's just about ready to flip. So, much better. I think this one I'm going to eat on camera with you guys. Cool. Okay, so what a lot of people do is just the powdered sugar, but you can use chocolate syrup. Pie fillings are another fave that I see at the fair sometimes. So it really is just up to your personal taste. I think I'm going to put this first one on another plate. I'm going to give that one to my son. Alright, let's flip this bad boy. Look at the size of that. That's as big as my plate, I think. Alright, let's see what we got left in here, if anything. Probably enough to make a small one. So tell me, if you have one of these things, do you like it? I don't think I much care for this thing. It's a great idea in theory, but I think the spout on it's too big for this. See, I'm just pulling those back in. I think a local ice cream place that we have around here has it right, and I say, life's short, eat dessert first. More or less what we're doing now, because it's 5:30 in the afternoon. Alright, so I'll let that go in the pan for a minute. I'm going to run some water in this thing so it doesn't clog up on me. Have a little chocolate milk with mine. Alright, let's see how this big boy's going. This one's bigger than, almost as big as the last one I made. A little thinner though. My husband likes these too, so I'll move mine, this big one here, over into another plate, and then we'll take it into the dining room. I think the worst part about all this is waiting for the pan to cool down, for the oil to cool down, that is, so that you can put it away. Okay, so now topper. I do a little drizzle of chocolate on the one side, I think. Just to try it out. I think I've tried this before and didn't much care for it. I have seen them do whipped cream. Like I said, different pie fillings. So it really is up to you what you want to taste. I think I've even seen liquid peanut butter or something like that. Like liquefied peanut butter. Alright. So there. And there. Alright. So let's close up those. Turn that off. I think I'll just put these right into the sink. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we're here at the table eating, getting ready to eat this. I've put chocolate syrup over here. I want to try it. My son just loaded his down completely with chocolate syrup. I love funnel cakes. Now my idea for a funnel cake place at the fair would be make like a 4-pack of these, of smaller ones. Still charge the same price for them, but make it a 4-pack. So you don't have the dirty, grimy hands sharing between family members. And then I've got a couple of other ideas that I wanted to do, but this is one of my favorite desserts. It's easy to make. It finishes up quickly, and everybody loves it. So. All right, let's dig in. Let's try this chocolate side. You know, the chocolate syrup is okay. Believe it or not, it's just a little too rich for this, but it's not bad. I'll still eat it. I think I like the traditional better, you know, with just the powdered sugar. Let me down in the comment section below how you like to eat yours. Do you like it with a pie filling? Do you like it with just there we go. Do you like yours with a pie filling? Do you prefer yours with whipped cream, with just powdered sugar like me? Let me know. I mean, everybody's taste buds are a little different. Not everybody likes food exactly the same way. So we all have our own little preferences. Mine is this right here. Might as well not let it go to waste. I do love chocolate. I don't think this is a dessert that chocolate really belongs on, really. I can definitely see pie filling though. Apples or cherries, maybe strawberry. Blueberry would be okay too. And the catch with the pie filling is that usually if you're going to get the pie filling on it, it's going to be cold. So this is warm, pie filling's cold. So if you do it, I guess whatever you decide to do, you'd have to warm up. I have that can of blueberry filling over there. I didn't want to open it up just for this. No, I'm gonna make some blueberry muffins probably tomorrow, along with those banana ones, and I'll probably just use that. It's funny, I was sitting here earlier listening to stuff on Amazon. I'm watching Dorian on the TV because I am in South Florida, on the opposite coast though, Southwest Florida. And this monster of a storm, it just keeps heading towards Florida, but they still think it's going to go up the East Coast and over to the Carolinas. But then I hear, bah, bah. You think it's one of those like weekly things where they emergency alert system test. Just east of us, we got tornado warning, which means there's a rotation and they've spotted something. I'm like, well, gee, I'm watching Dorian on the TV. I'm watching the feeder bands come in from Dorian with all the thunderstorms, and now one of those has spotted a tornado. Great. It's crazy. And they don't get me wrong, I'm a big weather buff. I love this stuff. When something major's around, I'm glued to the TV, especially if it could possibly impact our area, but this stuff's crazy. I heard that it is the most powerful hurricane ever to hit the Bahamas. Right now they've got wind gusts up to 200 miles an hour plus, which means technically if there were a Cat 6, this would be a Cat 6. Well, I was going to take my hair down, but still a little damp. So yeah, I mean, it's like, when you live in Hurricane Alley, when you live in Tornado Alley, either one, things don't surprise you, but stuff's either still cool or still terrifying. I guess I could meet in the middle someplace, but for me, it's cool, but I do have family on the East Coast that makes it terrifying. I have a girl at work, her mom lives right outside of Daytona, and she was contemplating going home with her this weekend. I'm like, no, like, stay out of the path of that thing. No, you're not gonna be of any help to your mom driving up there. And a girlfriend of mine and I were supposed to go to Tallahassee this weekend. The plans got canceled up there because of the impending storm. So no one knew what it was going to do. You can have part of it. I'm back. I made a third one for my husband. My son starts picking. I'm like, yes, you can have some. So, but yeah, I mean, these storms can be terrifying. They can be a lot of fun if there's not a lot of damage being done in your area. They can be fun. I personally, I'm out in these storms when they're around. I'm filming. I am, in general, just messing around. I don't go out during the height of the storms. I'm not stupid, but my family and I, we are weather buffs, and we do try to make the best of them if we can. So, like during Irma, a lot of the storm came through at night. Also, a lot of it came through during the day. So, you just have to, if you want to watch the storm, if you actually want to see stuff that's going on, you have to be cognizant of where of where your home lies, directional wise. So you know, okay, so storms are going to be coming in from north, south, east, or west. Okay, so the front edge of the eye wall, as it's moving towards you, whatever angle of your house faces that way, that is what you need to have completely impervious. As the storm turns and no longer is battering that side of the house, then you can open it up so you can see what's going on. Because trust me, if you're totally caged up inside of a house with one of these storms raging and you can't see what's going on, you'll get cabin fever real fast. But like our condo, we've never rid a storm out in here. We've only been in this condo for one of the major storms recently. It was Irma. Wilma and Charlie, we lived in an old apartment on the river near Naples. And Naples, not where that was at, wasn't far from the Gulf, so we did leave. But this condo is built with Cat 4 or Cat 5 glass in the windows and the sliders. So, man, we could stay, but we usually ride out, storms that are coming right for us with my in-laws. But yeah, so these storms can be a lot of fun. They can be really terrifying, especially for people who've never been through one before. And you're in a state like Florida, where you feel more like a sitting duck than anything. It can be really terrifying for people. It doesn't bother me that much. I've learned over the years not to panic. Wait till a couple of days before the storm, before you start buying major supplies. Because, if you don't have the money, and you gotta start blowing big money for stuff that you're probably not gonna need to use, I mean, it's a little silly. But if you can afford it, go for it. If you can't, pay real close attention and don't panic. If it looks like it's coming, then go ahead and go get your stuff. Now, there's if you do lose power and lose it for more than a day, there are things you can do to cook. If you don't have a gas or charcoal grill, what we did during Irma a couple of times, if I can find parts of the video I'll show you, is I have a big stainless steel stock pot. We put rocks in the bottom, we put dried palmetto fronds in it, put a grate from my toaster oven on top, and we cooked on top of it. It worked just fine. But you get the little stuff together. If you can't really afford to go out and buy bags of ice for whatever reason, or you can't find them during hurricane season, make sure you keep 2-liter bottles or your 20-ounce bottles around from sodas, milk jugs. Fill those babies up with water and freeze them if you know you got an impending storm landfall. And the great thing with those is they will stay cold for a long time because of how thick they are. They can save your freezer, stuff in your freezer. You can even find recipes online if you sort of along the same lines. If you have an injury and you don't have an ice pack for it, rather than just using whole cubes, I think it's a mixture of rubbing alcohol and water in a couple of Ziplock bags, or even like a seal meal type bag. And with those, you can actually make your own like ice packs like you would get from the doctor's office. So, take stock of what you got. They say that don't use candles if you can help it. If you have nothing else but candles, candles are fine. Make sure you use something like a plate or a bowl instead of putting them directly on wood or glass, just to keep them from catching fire. If there's any possibility at all that your windows may break, during a really poor, heavy portion of the storm, blow out the candles. Use cell phone lights, use small flashlights. If there's any possibility that your home may be penetrated by the storm, that's what they're talking about with the candles. And if you happen to knock one over accidentally and cause a fire, put a lid on it from the kitchen, dump water on it. Baking soda is really good, so is salt. But more or less, if you can get a lid on it or wet a towel down and throw the towel on top of it, you'll be golden. This is why they don't want you using candles during these storms. I mean, there's a lot of other options now, but if you don't have the money for those other options, if it looks like you're going to get a storm, there's no two ways about it. The day your storm warnings go out, and you know for sure that you're going to get it, everybody gets showers. Obviously not if it's lightning, but everybody gets showers. Scrub your tub with, I hate it, but scrub it with bleach. Make sure you cork it up, stop it up good. If you have to, put plastic lining in, fill that up with water. And that way, at least you'll have wash water and water to dip out if you go potty. When you're in a storm-prone area and something like that happens, you'll start hearing, if it's yellow, let it mellow, which means don't flush. If it's brown, flush it down. Yeah. Obviously, if you're just peeing, it's going to stink. Not after a while, but it's okay. The next person that has a BM, flush it. If you can't flush it because there's no water, then just take a bowl full or a cup full out of it, and as you flush it down, you flush it out with the additional water you got in the back of the tank. Always make sure with storms, if you're going to get any portion of the bad winds, patio furniture should come in. Anything that's out in the yard that's loose, that can be picked up and blown away, put it in your garage or bring it in. Trash cans are kind of hard because of stink, but if those secure them onto something, onto a fence on the side of the house with maybe a rope or bungee cords, anything that could become an airborne missile, take in or get rid of. It's all simple little stuff. Now, I promised on an earlier video, I'm not sure if I posted that video or not, maybe I didn't, the checklist that I have decided to put together. What this checklist is my plan. I've never done it, like a dummy. And I promised myself I would do it after Irma, next time a storm was around. But what I want to start doing, we do grocery shopping the European way. I've been told it's the European way by a couple of Europeans, which means I don't buy a week's worth of groceries at once. I buy a day or two worth of groceries at a time. And then I go back. Because inevitably, I'm going to need something from the grocery store anyway before the week's out. So I just go back every couple of days. But what I've been wanting to do, there's this great app called Flip, F-L-I-P-P. And in that app, all the major retailers, sales ads. sales ads, with those sales ads, you can find out who's got what on sale. So who's running BOGO specials on the canned vegetables and things like that. Canned spaghettis, soups. And then what you can do, what I've been wanting to do is to do a plan. $10 a week, for example, of just canned goods. The following week, like $10 a week for dry stuff. Box of potatoes, rice, ramen, things like that. Pasta, things that aren't going to, things aren't going to go bad on you and are going to be eaten. Maybe the following week, $10 worth of frozen goods. The following week, maybe $10 worth of, bread and stuff like that. Stuff that you can freeze part of, other, that you keep as fresh, cereals. And then maybe a wild card week in there, like when you have more than 4 weeks in a month. Then, $10 worth of HBA products, health and beauty aids, stuff that you use for the shower, stuff that you use for personal care, dental stuff, first aid stuff, which is really good. And remember, the dollar store is a great place to go for that, all that good stuff. You can get first aid creams there, you can get bandages there, you can get alcohol and peroxide and gauze and tape. So don't overlook your Dollar Trees and your Five Belows and your Dollar Generals and places like that for your first aid stuff. So that's what I've been wanting to do. I've also been wanting to set like a bookshelf, like that metal one behind me on my left shoulder, my right shoulder right here. I've been wanting to put that together. We got a severe thunderstorm warning that I saw on the map. But I've been wanting to start putting, going to like sales and stuff, things that are really severely marked down but are still in great shape. There's nothing wrong with them, and putting that aside for Christmas for different people. So like, have the felt bins that you can get at Dollar Tree, and one for each person in the family, and start putting stuff in it. That way when Christmas rolls around, it doesn't hurt as much. So these are my ideas. I do have a web page coming. It won't be a .com type web page. It'll just be a freebie web page. And I'll just link it in my all my social media. But in there, I'll have a PDF that you can download with each of these things on it. Maybe I'll do like a graph, not really a graph, a form, so that you can tick off the things. There's also, I have to find it. It's a 52-week savings plan, where like the first week you save a penny, then it's a nickel, then it's a quarter, then it's $1, then it's $2, and like that. And by the end of the year, it's supposed to be like $1,100. I forget exactly, the increments, but I've been wanting to do that too, and haven't gotten around to that either. That was sort of my idea for Christmas savings. But, stuff happens. So, but yeah, this is getting cold. It's really good though. Yes, I'm using my hands. Certain things don't require the niceties of civilization. Some things just require more of a brutal approach. So yeah. We're in Hurricane Alley. We've got a monster offshore on the opposite shore, luckily. Hopefully it won't affect us much. We are going to start getting thunderstorms from it. We got thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorm warning just came in for Naples. And it's all coming from the south, from the southwest coast down by Marco Island. That's where that's where the tornado warning was earlier. So I guess the rotation must have stopped now. It's just a severe thunderstorm. So these are the things you can do for storms. If you must, for novelty's sake, go out in the middle of a storm, be very, very careful and extremely aware of your surroundings. And I almost got hit one time during Hurricane Georges back in, I want to say 99, by a palm frond off of a queen palm come flying across and nearly took us out. So you just don't know. I mean, nothing could be laying around and all of a sudden a piece of a tree gets ripped off. So, or a kid's toy comes flying from nowhere. So be very careful if you decide to go out in the middle of these storms. We're in a condo. I usually stand at the breezeway for tropical storms, patios for major ones, garages, and be very careful because if you're near anything water related that water could start rising very quickly, water can start rising very quickly. Where we stayed during Irma, there's a lake in between all the houses, and it's very close to the Coxsackie River. Water came up real quick, and you would think you're in Venice, Italy, because the road was knee deep in water. You could have floated a little kayak down it. So, it doesn't take much, and you just never know those water. If you're going to try and walk through it, you just never know what's in that water, where that water came from. That could be sewage backup. You could have critters in it. You're out of power at some point on the other end of that. When that water started coming up, you could have had a live line down. Luckily, during major storms, they usually kill the power grids for a while until it comes back up, so I can see where the power lines are down at. But you never know what, if that line really is dead or not, especially if you're close to a hospital. So you're better off never going into a body of water like that, especially one that came out of nowhere, because you just don't know if there's a down line. You don't know if there's any snakes in there. Ant beds, ants swim, and they usually cling together in clumps. So what you think might be just like grass clippings or mulch could very well just be a big old floating pile of ants. Bees can swim too. So, especially in South Florida, we got snakes coming out of our butts here. We got so many snakes in different breeds. Many venomous, some harmless, but they all can swim. You never know what's in that water, so always be very cognizant of where you're at. It doesn't take much water to rise. It doesn't take much to displace critters. Always be very careful. I'm not always the most careful person in the world when it comes to these storms, but I assure you guys that missing out a little bit of fun beats the possible consequences otherwise. Ooh, it's getting dark out. So, I think I'm going to call this quits. Let's see, I'm getting a little soggy. I ain't crunchy anymore for you ASMR people. A little crunchy, I guess. But, so, yeah, I've had my fill of this. Still have to have dinner. So, if you're watching this and you're in the path of Dorian, please be careful. Stay safe. Whatever your local officials tell you to do, do it. If you're at an island, a Barrier Island type place, and they give you your last, get the beep out orders, do it. If you stay, make sure you write your social security number on the arm, cover it with new skin or clear nail polish. I hope for the best. Y'all have a great afternoon.